Welcome back to the channel, my friends. For this video, we will be taking a look at another Marvel Legends series from the Build-A-Figure Marvel Tri-Sentinel, the X-Men Professor X. I'm not really sure what this say. I'm not sure if that says Professor X since I'm not it does not have the same number of symbols for the alphanumeric English version of Professor X, but I'm not sure what it says. But it's the Krakoan alphabet. So if you are familiar with that, you'd get the hoot if you see this on the shelves, and have fun at the casuals that do not know what it means. Also, since this is like an alien-looking figure, and I doubt if any casual would think that this is Professor X. It has that alternate Professor X head, but yeah. This series is based on the House of X, Powers of 10, Powers of X, storyline by Jonathan Hickman, and it features this field-ready Professor X. The packaging shows in his nice product window that figure already. We'll talk about the figure later. At the side is a nice illustration, very nice illustration actually, of Professor X in his field uniform, ready to lead in the field. Okay. Yeah, maybe it says Charles Xavier, Charles X Xavier. How do you pronounce Xavier? I've all my years as a grown man, I've always pronounced it as Xavier. But when I was watching the animated series, it was always Xavier. How do you pronounce it? Like I said, I am not a native speaker of English, so I'm not really sure how to pronounce Xavier. At the back is still that nice illustration with him. It's one of those gates that they use for teleportation when they're going to Krakoa, the mutant homeland, the new mutant homeland. There's been several mutant homelands, right? Yeah. And a bio, of course. Xavier reveals his master plan, one that will bring mutants out of humankind's shadow and once again into the light. So Charles Xavier is the leader of mutant kind again, and everyone's kind of following him again. Alright, that's good. And also features the Build-A-Figure, the new Build-A-Figure, which is the Marvel's Tri-Sentinel, and the checklist of characters that you will need to build it. So, hi. So that's enough about the packaging. Let's open him up and take a closer look at the figure, which is, yeah. Most of my Professor X figures are figures that are sitting in a chair of some sort. So anyway, let's open it. Let's open this up and take a look at it. Okay, so now we have him outside of the packaging. He kind of looks like a blind man. Kind of looks like Cyclops, I guess. He kind of would take cues from his favorite son. Is Cyclops still his favorite son? I'm not really sure. But I'm quite sure that if Professor X, and it has been shown in a lot of storylines in the X-Men universe, wherein when Professor X dies or anything, that he would leave everything to Cyclops, since Cyclops is his favorite son. I'm not really sure if he's the favorite son, but I know Professor X kind of adopted him, so, and he is kind of like the teacher's pet of sorts. Anyway, this look of Professor X kind of reminds me of the Reed Richards one in Ultimate Fantastic Four, the Ultimate Universe. If you still remember the Ultimate Universe of the Marvel Universe, the comics line, which actually Kind of segued to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, since a lot of the elements and concepts that were in the Ultimate universe of Marvel Universe were kind of integrated to the Marvel Universe Cinematic Universe at during the initial initial launch of that cinematic universe. Anyway, we're talking about Professor X here, and like I was saying during the package, when you were looking at the packaging, that most of my Professor X figures are a well-groomed, well-dressed, bald guy where sitting in a wheelchair, and now we have this guy looking like he is in a BDSM suit, all black, no trimmings, no X's, no anything, just a black figure. It kind of looks like if you are an artist and you have one of those Japanese action figures that have no markings on it, just musculature and articulations for posing as a posing guide when you are drawing. Kind of looks like that. Except for the head, of course. The head features that huge bulbous helmet, which is kind of like a Cerebro. It kind of really looks like the Cyclops costume of the mutant terrorist Cyclops costume. So it looks like Reed Richards' Ultimate Reed Richards costume. It also looks like the red and black Cyclops, the terrorist Cyclops costume. Yeah, so that's the visual cues that I'm getting from it. Yeah, I have one of those Japanese action figures which you can use for posing. Here we go, and it will actually kind of complement Professor X here, Charles Xavier here, since they're both wearing the same costume, all black, no stripes, no pipings, no anything, not even a belt. I mean, Magneto and Cyclops here are sporting pouch belts, and Professor X does not need any pouch belts because Professor X can have Cyclops carry all his stuff for him. Okay. That's what it looks like to me. And I'm not saying it's not cool. It's just kind of plain, okay? So, yeah. Like I said, this series is based on the House of X, Powers of 10, Powers of X storyline by Jonathan Hickman. And I kind of like the design cues there. And if you watch my earlier videos, the first two ones that I did, I kind of said that I did not read it that much. I just browsed through it. But yeah, I like the pictures. In my old age, I'm kind of like looking more at the pictures now. I know this is kind of reverse, since most of us, when you grow old, you get deeper into the stories. But for me, I think I've just been more interested in visuals right now. So the figure is a very plain figure, like said. It comes with a couple of accessories. The Build-A-Figure, what is this? Right arm for the Tri-Sentinel. And we'll talk about the Tri-Sentinel in another video. So this figure has that hand. So, okay. A sleeping Professor X head. No, a meditating or a telepathically what do you call this? The Professor X using his powers head, but mostly he looks like he's sleeping. There is a bit of a mispaint on mine. Those eyes are not. Those eyebrows are not symmetrical. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, and I've always liked the way that they sculpted Professor X's head. The comics version, not the Patrick Stewart or the movie version, because he always looks the same, even in drawings. So that's cool. So I also like the effect, the TK. If this is not TK, this is telepathic waves effect. So that's a new effect, and that's a new head. He also has the two fingers to the temple hand gesture. So I put there, very much like Cyclops. Open the visor, open the visor hand. And since Professor X is now a field leader, since he has this awesome all black field uniform, he has a pointing hand. So to me, my X-Men, go there, beat that villain's ass. Okay, so he has that. Two alternate hands, the two finger to the temple gesture hand, and a pointing hand to point the X-Men to where they're supposed to go. Okay. I like the body on this. I think this is the Spider-Man body. Very thin looking body. Has butterfly joints, so you have that going on for him, so he can actually splay his arms around like so, and also move it inward. Head is on a hinge and on a ball joint, so he can look up, look down, rotate, and the ball joint allows a bit of sideways motion. So very good. Full rotation to the head. He really looks like he's blind in this costume. He shoulders allows him to raise his hand sideways like so. He has bicep swivels, double jointed elbows, rotation at the wrist, and also his hand can move inwards and outwards. See that? Ab crunch, so he could bend forward, and a bit of not much of an arch in his back actually. He can bend forward like so. A waist rotation. You can do the split that much. Yeah, like Magneto, Professor X is an old guy, and he just fell on his face. Okay, see that? So that's as much of a split he can do. He can raise his legs upward that much. He has thigh swivels, double jointed knees. I'm really glad for Professor X that he can now move around, and he has the articulation to do so. He can point his foot down, and he can point it up as well, and he has ankle tilts. I also like the foot ratio, the foot base ratio, so he can actually stand up easier than most. Okay, so that's pretty much what this figure can do. The default hand is an open palm. If you are familiar with his teachings for the X-Men, the closed fist and the open hand. Yeah. To change his head to the sleeping head, you just pop this off, and you could pop this in. Wait, it's kind of tight. Yeah. Now he said doesn't like to pop in. I don't know why, but yeah, that's much. Alright. Now he looks like a saint. Saint Charles Xavier. See, he looks like a Buddha. Yeah. So that's the review, guys. Thank you for watching. Please do leave a like, share this to your friends. Comments, questions, and suggestions, type them down below. And if you are so inclined, please help me out. Subscribe to the channel. And for those of you who are already subscribed, thank you, guys. And if you do subscribe, please do click on that notification bell so that you know when I'll be uploading other stuff soon. Thank you, guys, and see you at the next video.